This is a Mayan. I'm not sure if it's a calendar or what it is, but it has some strikingly close resemblances to a couple other things that I think is going to tie all of this Saturn time stuff together. So let's just take a look at it real quick. You can see in the center it has a face, then it has an X. Actually, it could be a 6-point because it's got 3 on either side, but we'll just go with the X, which we know represents Saturn. And then it's got rings. It's got multiple rings going out. Okay, so we'll start with that. Now, if we look here, you can see I have it numbered. This disc has 8 points. Starting at the top, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has 8 points listed in yellow. This is a picture of the inside of Cern. If you notice, it has 8 points. I have them listed in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we have a similarity between the Mayan and Cern. 8 points and 8 points. Here we see when we connect the 8 points on the Mayan picture, calendar, whatever, it creates a octagon. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We connect the points, we have an octagon. Here we see when we connect the 8 points at Cern, we have an octagon. So there's a lot of striking similarities up to this point, but it gets even better than this. If we look at the inside, we can see where I've highlighted in black, it makes an X. Now we know that that X, occultically as a rule, is affiliated with the planet Saturn. So there we have an X on the inside that we know is associated with time, chaos, the unknown. Mathematically, it's always the unknown. Always trying to find X. X marks the spot. Here we see, if we highlight the inside of Cern, we have the X. If you turn it right side up, you have the German Iron Cross. If you bend all of those, you will have a pyramid if you were to bend them in. So once again, another similarity. If we look on the very, very inside, we'll see a face on the inside of this Mayan calendar / carving, whatever. It's definitely something major because it sure is lining up to Cern, which I believe is using reverse technology to create something. Okay, that's just my opinion. But so we can clearly see the face. I have it highlighted in blue. Now, watch as I overlay the inside of Cern. You'll notice the inside of that has a face too. Let's take a look. Now, if we look here, we can see that there's 16 bricks that go around. There's 16 squares that go around the inside of the X. So I've numbered them. I hope you can see it clearly. There's 16. If you watch as I overlay the inside of Cern, you'll see that there's 16 squares that go around the inside, just on the outside of the face. Now, if we look here, we can see that there's 9 rings, 9 being in the center, 1 being on the very outer. Hopefully you can see that I've numbered it. It's kind of hard because some of them intertwine. But there's 9. Again, there's 9, if you see. There's 9 there. Now, if we look at Cern, you can see the black lines. I also numbered them. You'll see that there's 9 levels that lead toward the center of the disc, where the face is with the 16 bricks. Now this is where it starts to get weird. This is the inside of I believe it's the Vatican. I could be wrong, but whatever the case. Immediately, we can see that there's a correlation between Cern, the Mayan, and this Catholic Church. So let's take a look. Now watch as I do the overlay with the original X from the inside of them, as from the Mayan and Cern. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now let's look as we overlay Cern on top of that inside the church, and let's see what we get. Okay, so here we look, just like Cern and just like the Mayan. This has 9 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 being in the center. Okay, so you can see that clearly. What's interesting to me is the fact that underneath all of this, in a bubble, would be what most Christians would consider to be the Savior. Now, what is he doing involved in all this Mayan, Cern, religion? But what gets better, let's take a closer look at who's inside this bubble and what's inside this bubble. So, upon closer examination, the individual in the bubble looks like what we would call in a Christian religion the Messiah. But what's more interesting is that it appears that he's ascending, which goes right along with the Christian theology that he ascended. But the most important part of this is that there's a checkerboard that he's sitting on some type of a chair or something. Now, checkerboard, black and white, Masonic, Hebrew, Phoenician. Kind of throws a monkey wrench in what we conceive Jesus to be. Because as we know, most of us, that the black and white is most readily associated with the Masonic order. And as I've said before, the King James Bible, it's a Hebrew Kabbalistic book that's written. It's a wonderful book. It's a highly intelligent book. It's a coded book. Okay? Somebody's not telling us the truth here, folks, because the pictures are bearing it out. So let's do an overlay on the inside of the church and see the levels. They match up with the inside of Cern, and I'm sure that if there was a way for me to correlate them properly, you'd see it would match up with the rings on the Mayan carving. So if we remember back on September 11th, 2001, I remember I saved this picture especially because here we have a cube, and we also have a 8-sided hexagon, or an octagon, excuse me, and it's facing where? Right at the World Trade Center. Now what is this cube, and what are these two working in conjunction? What are they doing? Interesting, interesting, interesting.